And we are back, Fashion Dolls. My apologies. I think it froze for a minute and it was spinning, so I'm going to add Shawn back so that we can pick up where we left off, Fashion Dolls. All right. So let me send this back to Shawn. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. My apologies. We froze and it was spinning. So I'm going to add Shawn back so that we can continue on with part two. This will be part two. I have to upload it in parts, part one and then part two. So you guys will be able to see the interview. All right. So as we're speaking right now, I'm going to go ahead and upload this part to the channel. And then I will also upload. Yeah, I don't know. It started buffering on his end and then it froze and I had to swipe out the app and then come back in, so it was acting crazy. But let me go ahead and see if Shawn is back. Okay, Shawn is back. Let me send him a request. There we are,
There we
and we're
go.
back.
We're back.
Geez, I don't know what happened. It froze and then you were buffering. It was spinning in a
Oh,
circle.
yeah,
But
that's wild.
we were talking about writer's block, and you were saying you started from the end and then worked your way up to the beginning.
Yes. So start from the end and work your way to the beginning. If you're having any type of writer's block, I was saying that I've written songs for other companies before, and you have to feel what you're writing. And I know I keep on saying that, but you just have to feel it. Being an artist, it's very hard because it's not very objective. It's so subjective that you really have to. It works a lot off of passion, more so than other types of careers. So I'd say feel it for sure.
And a lot of artists write from personal experience, from things they've
Hmm.
experienced, from things they've encountered. That goes for anybody: playwright, musician, director, producer, whomever. They pull from personal experience. Like Shawn said in part one of our interview, um, just looked around, random things. You said it was a grocery store, going into the store, different things like that. You see things and you write about it.
Hmm.
Feeling, you pull from that, from the inside.
Yes, because everything is relatable. In some way, everything is relatable. We don't often like to admit it, but everything is relatable in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my next question for you is, what's next in the chapter of Shawn Henry?
Well, I just bought into a different business. And so I'm excited about that. And I am currently looking to bring our shows back on stage. Everybody's interested, so I'm looking forward to that. We are opening a Detroit office for Shawn Henry Productions, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm starting another business for mental health care, um, which has been a huge focal point of my outside of the arts career. And so we're looking to offer mental health services to both children and adults. And so starting that business up is going to be called Lovely Days. And it's going to be very nice. That's the next chapter. Being happy, enjoying life, opening up businesses. And now that I know what it's like to be in them, because, at first I just wanted to be a business owner, which is what I warn people about. Don't just own a business to own a business. Make sure you like it, because it won't last. And you don't want the stigma of failure based off of your own unpreparedness for what it could entail, especially since there's so much information like this. I would have jumped on an interview like this to watch it just to get some information on, how do I do it? What do I do? Who's been there? Who can give me some advice on where I should go? Uh, I remember when I hosted Malik Yoba, and I'm not sure if the younger generation is familiar with Malik Yoba, but he was in New York Undercover. Why did
Yes.
he get married? He was on Empire. and I had him come out here and hosted something, for the actors, and a lot of people showed up. But then I was like, it should have been more. If you're hungry, go to the food. If you're hungry, go eat. Because people are setting out buffets for you, even Styles by Stevie. You're setting out buffets for people. Come eat. Because this is where the real happens. The real life situations where you're talking to real people who are in it. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm gonna go back for a second because you touched on stigma, and I talk a lot about mental health on my platform here. So it is glad I'm so glad that we see more and more people starting to normalize it and talk about it a lot. And there's not a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of resources out here for people. I mean, yes, you guys can go and check out Better Health,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's some people that are just like, I don't have the money to afford therapy. So this right here can be helpful, and I think that it is genius that you are doing this, using your platform and your voice as well too to help people, especially with us Black people. We continue to sweep things under the rug. We don't talk about it because this generation we've been
But why
taught,
don't you think we
what goes
talk about that? Like, why don't you think we talk about that, Stevie? Like, why don't you think we bring that up?
I think it's because it's generational trauma.
Mm.
We've been taught and programmed that what goes on in this house stays
Stays
in
in
this.
this house.
We don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. We go to God, and my mom is a God fearing woman, and she taught us, if you feel something, you come and you talk to me. You don't just go and talk to God. You come and talk to me because there's a parent in the household or parents in the household that cares for you. There's family that cares for you. That's what she taught me. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Mm.
And
It's a big
out of
family.
all of our siblings, we all have different personalities. And it wasn't any rivalry between any of us. We all loved and cared about each other. But one thing my mom told us, and she told my dad, told my other siblings as well too, is that you come and you talk to them. You don't hide it. And that's why I think a lot of people don't talk about it. That generational trauma, what goes on in this house stays in this house. That cycle must be broken. And I'm so proud to see a lot of our people, Black people, mainly Black men, speak up more and more about mental health. I mean, it was a football player not too long ago, and I can't remember his name, it's on the tip of my tongue. But he just spoke out about normalizing and prioritizing mental health. I talk about it a lot on my platform, especially with this upcoming election cycle. Like I've literally found myself having to take breaks because it is so overwhelming. The news every day is something new. But I have to take breaks and regroup and come back and take my mind off of it. My mom tells me this. She tells me see and don't see. Because sometimes looking at the news every day, it can do something to your mental. It can do
Oh my
something to
gosh, yeah. And I'm
yeah.
I'm like addicted to news, and it screws my mind up sometimes.
So we have to take that break. We have to look away. We look for a minute. We glimpse at it. We see the notifications on our phone and stuff,
Right.
but we take it with a grain of salt and move on. Move on
Hmm.
to the next thing. Look at the next thing. Focus on the issue, but look on for your mental health, for your psyche. If you have to walk away or take a break, do so. Absolutely.
Yeah, and outside of the arts and what we've talked about, which is why I'm starting my own agency, I do that throughout the day. Actually, I have clients that, I see and I counsel for mental health. And it ranges from a lot of different things. But it is important that we get rid of the stigma of everything, treat your mind like you treat your body. Actually, treat your mind better than you treat your body. Because a lot of your mind controls your body. And I often have to teach people that, like, if you can hone in on your mind, and I encourage everybody to find that safe person. Find somebody in your life that you just feel safe with. It doesn't have to be a lover. It doesn't have to always be a family member, but find that person that you feel safe with, that you can really, because a lot of people are holding so much in, and they're dealing with so much that it becomes overwhelming. And that's when people start to expose. These aren't crazy people. These are people that have just had crazy experiences. And And as a result of that, there's a crazy outcome. But these people, everybody's not crazy. Some people, we got to tweak a little thing, little things in our head, tighten up a few screws here because one situation can kind of loosen you up a little bit, and you got to go back in and put a little WD-40 on it, so it works smooth again. But I completely agree with you wholeheartedly. And I don't want people to ever feel like they can't afford mental health. Mental health is affordable. It's affordable. Everywhere you are, in every city, even if you are a Medicaid, Medicare recipient, or whatever the case may be, even if your children are, you, you can receive mental health support. As an adult, it is covered. So never let that benefit go away. I could have a whole interview on benefits that people don't even realize that are out there that they could receive.
And I touch on it a lot. Shout outs to my colleague Now's the Time. He says, thanks for sharing that perspective. Talking about your issues with loved ones, family, unity, very important. I can see Stevie having her own talk show. This is it. This is the platform here. And I'm thankful to be able to share this platform with others who will share their stories as well too, or like-minded like myself, who also believe in mental health and the power of letting people know, like, hey, I'm not feeling my best today. This is what I'm actually feeling. It's important that we indicate these feelings because that means that you're normal. That means that you're human. And like Shawn just
Mm-hmm.
this stuff bottled up inside. Because what happens is it's like what the sponge what absorbs water.
All it
It's like
does.
soaks up all the water. We soaking up all the anger. We're keeping everything bottled
And
up
then what do you
inside.
have to do? You have to squeeze the hell out of it in order to get the water to come back out. you know? So this is amazing.
So we have to continue to talk about it, especially during this election cycle. And I have someone that is coming on the show. Sneak peek, y'all. I have someone who's coming on the show in November who is going to help me talk about navigating through the stress of this election, mental health, psyche, because I know it's a lot of everything that is going on in the world. It's like Shawn said in part one of our interview before we froze, which is I had to carry the weight of the world on my back, or it was one of your song lyrics. You said I had to carry the weight of the world on my back, or my arms broke, or something
Mm-hmm.
broke, my shoulder.
Broken
Like
shoulders.
literally, that's how we all feel.
It was broken shoulders from carrying the world.
Yes, exactly. That's how we all feel right now.
Mm-hmm.
We feel hopeless
Yes,
in
you
this
can
time.
follow me in that town. And
And
please go vote. Go and vote. Go and vote. I have my ballot right here. I have voted. Go and vote, please. As a government major with a specialization in pre-law who has studied this election is one, this is an election of a generation. This is bigger than voting for Obama. This is huge. Please, whatever you do, go and vote. Because if we get a certain person in the office and then we get a certain vice president, you may not know this, but the vice president's the head of the Senate. And they're usually the last say so. They cast the last vote. We will lose the House, the Senate, the executive office. And we're already, as Democrats, if you are a Democrat, we are already under in the Supreme Court. We will lose all power in government and things are going to go crazy. You have to, please.
y'all know why I'm looking like that because I've been telling y'all throughout this entire week is y'all hearing it from someone else. I don't have to tell y'all. Undecideds, uncommitteds, unlikelies. It's time to make the decision now with less than 32 days left until election. You there's only one clear present choice.
Thank you,
And
Kitchen.
the other choice, if you have not heard about it, y'all, if you haven't heard about Project 2025, what they're trying to do, maybe you might need to get on your phone, your tablet, or laptop right now and look it up. I
Project
posted it on my
2025, I've read through the key points. And Project 2025 is going to twist your world upside down. Basically, every luxury that you've taken advantage of, not saying that you've taken advantage of your luxuries, because you should take advantage of your luxuries because you're entitled to them. But Project 2025 is going to strip you completely away. The Republican Party, and this is nothing against Republicans, but it is, um, they're working really hard to reestablish government. When you talk about people reestablishing government and reconstituting the Constitution, it's very, it's very scary. And when you start to look at a president to have absolute immunity, we only offer that to diplomats who come into this country who carry high standards as kings, queens, and princesses. And now we're trying to offer it to a president. And the presidency was never intended to be a royal position. And that's what Trump is trying to make it to be. If you don't vote, then everything that comes is your fault. You helped to create the problem because the problem is not going to mind creating problems for you. I'm sorry, you got me on my bandwagon a little bit.
No, I've been saying it all this week. That's why I'm quiet, because I think the audience needs to hear it from someone else. I, I've been saying it all
It's
throughout
not
this
that
week.
hard. If you don't want to go, you can get one of these like I do, and you can cast your vote. I'm going to put this in the mail. I'm going to send it off. This is going to be my vote. These type of votes are what you see on CNN, early votes. This is what we're going to send in, and cast your vote. Even if you are voting Republican or independent or the Green Party, it doesn't matter who you vote for. As long as you vote, let your voice be heard. You don't have to agree with me, but at least let your voice be heard.
And another thing, Project 2025 would impose what is effectively a new sales tax on everyday goods like food and clothing. It's typically going to cost the American family, let's say, about $4,000 a year. Another thing, it would, for women, it would ban abortion access nationwide and attack access to IVF and contraceptive. That means birth control. It would invalidate state gun safety laws and support guns everywhere. He said if he gets elected, he is also going to pardon the insurrectionists from the Capitol of January 6th. Another thing he said, it would roll back investments in American manufacturing and clean energy and send jobs overseas.
Read that
Surrender
part
the
again.
fight
Read that
climate.
again.
Investments in American manufacturing and clean energy and send jobs overseas.
Which is that's completely opposite of what they're telling you on the TV. Like that is completely opposite. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a game. It's whatever I can tell you to fool you. Because the number one way to get something past a black person, as they say, is to put it in a book. Well, this book is called Project 2025.
The fight against the climate crisis. Hurricane Helene, we just had a deadly hurricane that has killed over 200 people. We
Yeah.
can't make this stuff up. What else it would do is it would get rid of the National Weather Service. You know how we get the alerts on our phone letting us know, take cover,
That,
go in a basement, or go where shelter is? The National Weather Service. Project 2025 would do away with that. It would do away with EPA. It would do away with FEMA, who comes out, who is helping people right now get food, get shelter, get everything they need. Right now, as we speak, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are helping people in states where they were impacted by Hurricane Helene.
and if you have
So
if you have, I'm sorry to cut you off, Stevie, but I think this is really important. And I think Walls Tim really tried to get this over to people last night. If you have anything, if you have any family members who have pre-existing health conditions, which means if you're sick right now, then you need to be talking to your local um, funeral home because they're working to not cover any pre-existing conditions. You literally have to walk into a healthcare facility or a healthcare provider and be completely 100% healthy. That may you may say, I'm healthy, I'm good, I ain't got to worry about nothing. There's something, there's something, somewhere doing something. Whether it's you, your family member, your friend, it doesn't matter. They're going to strip you of that health benefit. And that is one thing that they are very proud of. The very thing that is ensuring most of America right now. Donald Trump himself tried to knock down over 62 times to remove health care, which in Canada and other countries is just a natural right. So basically, most of America is just going to be up Shit's Creek without a paddle. It's important. It's important. So I will be watching that live for sure.
Make sure that you guys are registered and ready to vote. I gave you guys the deadlines in part one, or if you're down here in South Carolina, in part one of our interview, which I'll upload after this part right here. I'll upload both parts. But you guys have to listen. That's why I was quiet. I didn't say anything because I've been telling you throughout the whole week how serious this is. We need to be talking to our barbers. We need to be going to barbershops. We need to be knocking on doors. We need to be going to our beauticians. We need to be going everywhere, letting everybody know what's at stake. Black people, we have the most health care disparities in this country. And like Shawn just said, we will be up the creek without a paddle. We need Medicare. We need that. And there are people in this country who are disabled.
We need
So
Medicaid.
Medicaid, Medicare, he guts that. That's it. That's all she wrote. So if you got a family member that's got diabetes, asthma, cancer, any of the pre-existing conditions that I just named, you're
Or
gonna be in trouble.
any other community related conditions,
Yeah.
having to treat HIV, having to treat um, what you say diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature, having to treat any sexually transmitted infection. If you walk into it with that, that's it. And if you let's say you're HIV positive and they say, oh, you're HIV positive, which means that we can no longer give you treatment. If you know somebody like that in your life, then they're going to be gone away from you within like a few months without treatment. It's just that serious. And most people can't afford that because if you do your research, you will know most antiretroviral medications cost at minimum $3,000 a month. A month. And so if they knock out that Medicaid and that health care, that's it. Most people can't afford that.
Absolutely. Democratic delegation offered 750 to the victims of this hurricane. Jesus help America. Yeah. If we have to vote her in by numbers so massive, this election is so close that we have to vote by numbers so massive that they can't say it was rigged, it was stolen, which he's already sowing seeds in doubt saying that it is. He did the same thing in 2020. So make sure you guys are registered and ready. It's a lot on the ballot. We can't take this for granted.
$750. I didn't even know this statistic. That is literally half of that is a grocery bill for a month. That is wild.
There needs to be more. Needs to be more. So we'll keep on top of that. But
I'm sorry, I completely steered the conversation somewhere else. I did want to tell you that you look beautiful.
thank you.
I like
Thank
I don't know what it's called, but I like the little hair thing.
thank
About
oh yeah. It's a dress, you guys. It's a
no,
dress.
no, your
It's
hair.
about thank you. Thank you. Like the cut. You guys like the cut. My brother K Toops. I seen your comment. Thank you. I have no clue what my hair is gonna look like next week. I'm always changing it up. So you guys just have to stay tuned. But this election is critical, it's serious. But
It
yeah,
is.
get out and vote. Register. If you're not, go to vote.org. But before we close out this amazing conversation and interview, Shawn, what are some words and gems of encouragement that you would like to give to people in these crazy times that we're having? We touched on mental health. We touched on owning a business and giving people tips and advice on making sure that if they want to start a business and this is what you want to do, you go out here and you take these steps. What are some gems that you would like to conclude the interview?
Um, I thought about this question, and I think the true thing is going to be authenticity.
Mm,
Remain authentic to yourself. You have something that the world does not have. You have something to offer that the world has not seen. You have something to give the world that the world has never gotten. And I think a lot of times people look at people like us in front of a camera, or look at Stevie like, oh my gosh, she's so confident and everything is so great and it's so amazing, and oh, I wish I could be like that. That's not what makes this show amazing. What makes this show amazing is the authenticity and the genuineness that comes with it. Being who you are and being proud of that. Once you overcome that battle, and once you overcome anything that tries to knock you down, really the sky is the limit, and there's nothing that you cannot do. I didn't share this earlier, but the reason I started my own company is because I had written a show for another company, and the show sold out. It did absolutely amazing, but I didn't like what was going on behind the scenes, and I didn't like what was going on for my VIP guests. And so I said, for the next show, I would like to be an executive producer. And I was told literally, never, never. Mind you, this is a show that I wrote. This is a show that I directed, rehearsed for, and everything. I didn't make a penny off that show. And all I asked was to be an executive producer so that for the next show, everybody could get what I felt like they deserved. And my answer was never. Well, baby, 5 months later, Shawn Henry Productions was born. And I didn't let no become an answer. And I sold out on my first show. I had the face of Fox, Mr. Tyler Renzo, as the host of my show. I visited Fox Station and helped produce a web series on the same set that you watch your news on. And I'm just a country boy from Lancaster, Virginia, who had a dream to be somebody one day. But the only reason I became who I am is because I chose to be authentic, and I didn't change for nobody. And don't ever change for nobody. And because what you have, baby, what you have, the world is waiting for. You just need to be brave enough to show it to them. And I want you to carry that. And if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. If I don't know somebody, I know somebody who knows somebody who may know somebody. So go out here. I didn't even drop names tonight, but I want you to really believe in yourself and go for it. If you want to start a business, don't start a business until you have perfected being an employee.
yes.
Don't, don't start a business until you have first perfected being an employee, because you can't lead people in something that you aren't good in yourself. If you want to be a playwright, write a story that's related to you. And if you want to write a book, start backwards and begin your pinwheel. And watch this show and get more information and do your homework.
I second that notion. I second it. And today's final thought comes from Coco Chanel. She says, the most courageous act is to still think for yourself aloud. And it goes along with
Mm-hmm.
what Sean said, which is individuality and authenticity. Embrace your authenticity and be original. If you are a creator, if you are a filmmaker, if you are a producer, if you are a playwright, write from the heart. It's all about giving people the truth. More importantly, telling people your story. Your story is yours to tell. Nobody else can tell it for you. And like I said, when my guests come on the platform, we rotate that pilot seat. I let them take the pilot seat, and then I go back to taking the pilot seat because it's their story to tell. I'm just guiding them along the journey as well too, as they are telling their stories. So it's important that we remember that, fashion dolls. And without further ado, Shawn, I had such a great time. Where
Likewise,
where can everyone follow you and check you out?
you can find me on Facebook as Shawn L. Henry, or you could find me on Instagram at the Shawn Henry. And yeah, you can just hit me up. And if you have any questions or concerns, um, let me know. I don't say concerns as far as like something bad, but if you're stuck in a place and you're like, I don't know where to go from here, trust me, I've been there. I don't mind helping you. I'll help anyone that I can because I want to come to your sold out shows and I want to read your books.
See? Manifestation is a powerful thing too. You put it out there and work on your craft. If you like me, I do vision boards. Like I said, create a vision board, create a layout plan of what you want to do as well. Thank you, Marcus. Shout outs to Marcus Head. Definitely go and check him out. The Good Head Podcast. Definitely please go and check him out. He's had some big names on there. So it's one you don't want to miss. Go and check that out. And Marcus said that he hit you up, Shawn.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I'll follow up with you for sure.
All right, fashion dolls. And that concludes today's show. Again, we have to vote in this election. This is not one we can't sit out. And the present choice is Kamala Harris. And I
Mm-hmm.
will see you guys next week, fashion dolls.
All
Next week, okay?
right. Mm,
The cat is
thank
out
you.
the bag. You are so
thank,
welcome.
thank you
Next
for
week, we
having
have
me.
legendary girl group Shades joining me. So make sure you guys tune in next week and we will see you then. And Shawn, always a pleasure. I had such a great
Mm,
time.
thank you. Thank you.
Take care,
All
everyone.
right. Bye.